And a very happy Friday to you at 12:07 in the West. It's the John Phillips Show. Mr. Randy Wang's across the glass.
Well, John, it's been 24 hours since she made the announcement, and nobody has endorsed Pamela Price for Alameda County DA.
F around and find out.
One of our listeners sent us an email saying people should have been protesting at her announcement yesterday with logos of The Price is Right, only it should say The Price is Wrong.
She called me a crime boss.
I think she's going to get blown out even in Alameda County.
They're not going to make that same mistake twice.
Who does that? Well, if you think about it, Gascon was elected in San Francisco and then L.A., so we made that mistake twice.
You remember when that happened? London Breed penned a letter to the city of Los Angeles saying, "Don't trust this buffoon. He destroyed my city. He'll destroy your city." And we said, let's give it a try.
We got some wobbly knees allies.
We should have paid attention to London Breed when we had the opportunity.
Now nobody has that opportunity.
If you are not here, FOMO.
800-222-5222 is the telephone number, 1-800-222-5222. Well, a number of you have emailed us the articles about California Insurance Commissioner Ricardo Lara, who is now in hot water and also in the water, got his wig snatched.
I may be criticized and dragged through the mud for it and get my wig snatched, as the gay guys say.
Some people were very surprised to see the LA Times do a big investigative piece on all of Ricardo Lara's crooked dealings with insurance companies and all of Ricardo Lara's taxpayer-funded travel.
And welcome to the party, Los Angeles Times, because the rest of us have known about this since Hector was a pup.
I'm very kind of sketchy.
The day after that story broke on the LA Times, Ricardo Lara tried to do something to get his name to have something on the Google search results. So he finally answered questions from ABC7 in the Bay Area about all of those taxpayer-funded trips like the safari.
I wonder when he's going to sit down for a one-on-one with DJ Kitty Glitter over at Drag Queen Story Hour.
For more on an update on Ricardo Lara's taxpayer-funded travel, including the safari spa in South Africa, here's ABC7 in the Bay.
Since January, 7 on Your Side has requested thousands of public records detailing more than 100 trips Insurance Commissioner Ricardo Lara has taken within the U.S. and internationally.
Those aren't like regular vacations. That's 100 trips he's taken in the last 6 years on your dime and on my dime.
Wait, did you say that the safari included a spa?
Yes.
So what are you supposed to do, get naked with the lions?
Yes.
Including one last year to Cape Town, South Africa. After months of reporting, we have clarifications and new information to report tonight.
California's insurance market is one of the largest in the world, which is why travel is common for the state's current and past insurance commissioners.
Is it this common, though?
Not like this.
I don't think Dave Jones went to the safari spa.
This is, you're not even trying to cover it up.
I don't think the former insurance commissioners of the past went to Bogota, Colombia, for a big old fancy conference where they spent thousands of dollars on taxis.
I'm not exaggerating when I make this next statement. This guy travels more than some flight attendants that I know.
Prior reporting referenced the use of taxpayer funds for California Insurance Commissioner Ricardo Lara's travel. After further communications with Commissioner Lara's office and review of additional documents, we want to clarify that funding for Lara's travel comes from the California Department of Insurance, or CDI, which is a special revenue fund agency primarily supported by fees and assessments on the insurance industry, rather than the...
That doesn't make it any better.
Yeah. Is it supposed to make it better that the money came from that bank account and not directly from the California Department of Insurance?
So let me get this straight. Ricardo Lara's taxpayer-funded travel comes from a special account that's paid for by the insurance companies that he's supposed to regulate. They make him happy by sending him to New York City to DJ Kitty Glitter, and he makes them happy by jacking up our rates.
You know what was in the LA Times article? That when he goes on these lavish trips, he always sits at the front of the plane. He always flies first class or business class. He gets the pod. He gets the blinders to put over your eyes so you can sleep. He gets the pajamas. He gets the slippers. He gets the unlimited booze. He gets all of that. And then his aides, he puts in coach. It's like the parents on Home Alone.
What were they doing flying first class?
That's a good question.
Kind of sketch.
Rather than the proceeds from taxes. That money is deposited into the state insurance fund, which is subject to an annual appropriation by the legislature. CDI.
And that money is to gallivant around the world?
Yeah, I don't know if saying that there's oversight on this spending makes it look any better.
I think this makes it look worse.
It does.
We have a mechanism to make sure that the insurance companies are paying for Ricardo Lara's travel. And he likes to travel.
CDI says travel for events organized by the National Association of Insurance Commissioners, or NAIC, is paid for by that group.
So what you're saying is that we should be looking at all 50 state insurance commissioners because they're all bought and paid for.
You think he's ever joined the Mile High Club?
No comment.
The Department of Insurance pays a $150,000 annual assessment to NAIC from its operating budget. Commissioner Lara has taken personal days on certain trips, and the department says Lara pays for those travel expenses himself.
Does he have the receipts?
Yeah, I would like to see just exactly what we got billed with.
Did he pay for the facial next to the giraffes?
Because you know what happens? He travels with a CHP security detail. So even if he is at a safari and paying for his own ticket, which I seriously doubt, with his own money, we still have to pay for tickets for the CHP officers to go with him.
Well, and I'm trying to understand that whole world because it sure seems like there's a grift there too. Please tell me what the security threat is against Ricardo Lara.
Let me tell you, if you work for the CHP and your job is to shadow that man, you deserve every penny you get.
And like, what is your duty if you're to protect somebody, but you witness them in compromising positions? Who exactly are you there to protect?
Can you imagine the stories that those CHP officers must have to tell?
The tell-all books are coming someday.
I know people who work in that department. I should make some phone calls and find out.
Yes, you should.
CDI.
Can you get them on the air by 3 p.m.?
I can text during the next commercial break.
CDI told 7 on Your Side it does not have records or receipts of Commissioner Lara's personal spending on the 2024 trip to South Africa.
So we don't actually know if he paid for it himself or if he got a gifted suite from State Farm.
And I bet you some of those hotels down there are really lavish because I know a lot of rich people that have an interest in the animals.
Because, like other agencies, it doesn't keep or ask for records of employees' spending on their own time. ABC7 obtained several records.
So since I'm already going to South Africa for an insurance conference, I might as well go on a spa safari.
Can you imagine the photos that he must have taken from the safari?
You mean where he took the mud bath with the hippos? I'm just speculating.
Yeah, or he's chasing some animal down with a spear.
ABC7 obtained several records showing safari-related security expenses in Cape Town in early December last year. However, the department states there is no record that Commissioner Lara's personal safari expense was paid for by the department. Only CHP security accompanying Lara on the safari was expensed.
How many people are on that detail?
Oh, it sounds like a bunch because you have the people that work for the CHP who travel with him. I'm sure he needs a gopher from the California Department of Insurance, so he has to have at least one employee from his office to go with him. No, he travels like Beyonce.
Being an elected official security detail is a pretty darn sweet job, except if you were Eric Garcetti's.
Good point.
I receive things on both ends.
Haven't heard from you in a while.
After further communication, CDI says Commissioner Lara was in South Africa for 11 days, not for the 2.5 weeks that his security detail was there.
Okay, that doesn't make any sense.
No. What are they doing spending that much time there for?
If their job is to be security for Ricardo Lara, why are they there for 18 to 19 days and Ricardo Lara's only there for 11 days?
They need that much time to get South Africa ready for him?
They had to prep the Tigers.
As stated in our prior reporting, Commissioner Lara and the department say they are not responsible for determining security needs. As a matter of policy dating back several commissioners, Commissioner Lara's security and protection services are provided by a contract with the California Highway Patrol. Our prior report stated that security protection from...
And I'm sure when that contract was originally envisioned back in the John Garamendi days, well, you'd be traveling from Sacramento to maybe San Diego every once in a while.
Yeah, or you go to New York City to meet with the insurance companies or the industry associations, those sorts of things, but not around the globe.
Did the CHP go with him on cruises?
That was on the list.
Our prior...
You think he's a Carnival guy?
No way he's on one of them Kathy Lee cruises.
Our prior report stated that security protection from 2 2019 trips was provided in addition to the annual contract that covered expenses up to $260,000 that year.
So in California's budget, where we are $18 billion in the hole, we're paying $250,000 a year to make sure somebody that is completely anonymous, even to people in California, has protection.
Oh, you know why he does this? Because he has a big cadre of security guards and aides around him. And I guarantee you he doesn't wait in a line when he's in these foreign countries. They probably all think he's a big deal because he's traveling with such an entourage. And it's a way for him to feed his ego, which is the size of North Dakota.
But Commissioner Lara's office later clarified that all security during travel is included within that contract every year. CDI says security services are covered anywhere CHP determines it is needed per their own confidential threat assessments and security protocols.
I wonder how that meeting went. Oh, boy, it looks like he wants to go to South Africa. We're going to need a whole team for that.
Hey, if you were working for the CHP, wouldn't you volunteer for it?
Yes, I would.
I'd much rather go to South America with Ricardo Lara than scrape some guy off the freeway.
They might even have to test certain substances just to make sure that they're not dangerous.
A food taster of sorts, huh?
Sure.
For their own confidential threat assessments and security protocols.
In the course of our continued questioning, the California Department of Insurance has acknowledged some poor record keeping for certain trips dating back to before Lara's tenure, adding that some...
That doesn't make it any better.
No, what he's trying to do is just blame it on the office and say that they dropped the ball at processing the paperwork. And they were doing that for Garamendi, too, who he regards as a racist.
Adding that some older records are no longer accessible. Specifically, we have identified more than a dozen of Commissioner Lara's trips that were not reported on state disclosure forms required by law.
So what's up with that, Lara?
This guy just doesn't follow any of the rules, does he?
No. What's the point?
I'm very kind of sketchy.
The department has since told us it's updating these filings for Lara's participation in NAIC-funded events. For 7 on Your Side Investigates, I'm Stephanie Sierra for ABC 7 News.
Yeah, I don't think this exonerates Ricardo Lara one bit. It actually makes it sound a hell of a lot worse that most of these trips are paid for by assessment fees from the insurance companies.
Do you think that at a certain point he made the determination that he was never going to be governor, he was never going to be senator, he would probably lose in a primary to some better Democrat, and he would be, I guess, flushed out of politics. And when he determined that he had hit the ceiling, he was just going to take anything that wasn't nailed down?
I think that's been true for a very, very, very long time. This is an entitled politician that thinks he gets to live a very lavish lifestyle and doesn't really have to be held accountable for anything he does in the job that he has no experience for.
In my experience, I've noticed that there's a level of resentment that a lot of these elected officials have. And there's a level of jealousy that exists. Because if you think about it, when they make a decision, it impacts rich people in serious ways. And depending on what decision they make, they can help you or they can hurt you. And when people contribute to your campaign, they expect something in return. And if you make a decision that makes them a lot of money and they get to fly on private jets and they get to go to exotic destinations and they have nice cars and they send their kids to expensive schools and they have all of these things that you want and you can't have because you're on a public employee salary, you find ways to get it because those are your peers, or at least you regard them as your peers. And everyone around you has all this neat stuff and you don't, you find a way to get it. And if you don't get out of politics and go into the private sector where you can make an honest living, you find unethical ways to live like a king, even as an elected official.
I'm very kind of sketchy.
800-222-5222 is the telephone number. 1-800-222-5222. If you'd like to email the show, you can do so at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. That's johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. And Randy, if you want to continue listening to us all weekend long, that's easy to do.
Absolutely.
All you got to do is search for The John Phillips Show wherever you get your podcasts, whether it's the Apple Podcasts app, iHeart, Spotify. Search for The John Phillips Show. Hit subscribe. You can download all the episodes.
I'm very kind of sketchy.
You could go to Google on the YouTube, get the KABC app, get the KSFO app, get the KMJ Now app. We're on that station Saturdays at 2. So many different ways to listen live to this radio station and download all the podcasts, including all of our coverage over the years of Ricardo Lara.
I may be criticized and dragged through the mud for it and get my wig snatched, as the gay guys say.
In the meantime, what do you say we make a couple of listeners very happy?
All right, it's the last big one. Get ready, everybody. Dialing fingers, go. 790 KABC welcomes Guns N' Roses, the World Tour 2026 at the Rose Bowl, September 5th. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. But right now, caller number 9 at 1-888-790-5222 gets a pair of tickets to the show. Tickets furnished by Live Nation. Good luck dialing.
800-222-5222 is a telephone number. So yesterday we did 2 crime stories related to the city of Oakland. One involved the city not being good for payouts to people who call in with valuable information that leads to the arrest and conviction of a criminal.
They no longer have a contract with Crime Stoppers, and everyone that had the bank account died.
And then we did a story about 7-Eleven saying that they can't find any suckers willing to work at their stores late at night because they're all getting shot.
If the cashier is dummy.
Yet all of the city leaders in Oakland say that crime is in free fall and the city has never been safer.
Quite frankly.
Yeah, there might be a little to that. For more on looking into the Oakland crime statistics, here's a report from KPIX in the Bay.
A promising trend continues in Oakland. Earlier this year, Oakland police said that the number of major crimes was going down. It is a trend that started last year, and it seems to be holding. Back in 2024, violent crime in Oakland went down 19% compared to 2023.
Yes, but what was it compared to pre-Shang and pre-COVID?
Yeah, and what's it compared to Montana?
Absolutely, absolutely. The city says its ceasefire program has a lot to do with it. That program aims to help people at high risk of committing gun violence.
You know, by giving them life coaches.
Isn't that the program where they pay them not to kill each other?
That's a different program. That's the one that we had in San Francisco. You remember this is a pilot program during the London Breed days.
People have been stabbed.
Not that one.
Make that money.
Where we would pay you, I think it was like $75 a month to not shoot anybody in San Francisco, but you also would only get the money if you also did not get shot.
And then we brought in the life coaches to teach them not to shoot one another.
Yes.
That's exactly what this world needs. A bunch of gang members going to Tony Robbins seminars.
Oakland is not not alone. Overall violent crime is down across our state, too, as of last year. Now, as for this year, OPD says that violent crime dropped 29% from January 1st to the end of June compared to the same time the year before. Homicides went down 21%, aggravated assaults 18%, robberies declined 41%. And
is anybody buying this?
Who is believing this?
And advocates have said that the city needs to keep that momentum going.
I think it's the start of something. And I think that for folks who live in Oakland, for folks who want to change the narrative around how we think of Oakland, it shows that not only do we want public safety, but we're working towards it.
By the way, OPD staffing levels continue to dwindle. They're supposed to be around 800. They're around 500 right now.
And every time we check, it drops even farther.
Now, for most of this year so far, there have been 59 homicides in Oakland. And if you ask anybody, they would agree that even one is too many. But looking at the bigger picture, this is a 21% drop compared to the year before. Now, even so, there has been...
How many people have been murdered there this year?
59. But it was like 100 last year.
That city's not that big.
But again, there's specific circumstances we're talking about, because when we talk about homicides in big cities, we're mostly talking about gang members murdering other gang members. And so what we're saying is, statistically, some of them made it to the hospital quicker this time.
Yeah, and some of them are really bad shots.
This is a 21% drop compared to the year before. Now, even so, there has been some pretty disturbing and very high-profile violence in Oakland as of late. Just last month, beloved football coach John Beam was shot and killed at Laney College, and that happened the day after a student was shot at Skyline High.
Yeah, so tell me how it's safer in Oakland now?
And keep in mind, all of this violence is going on the football field after the Raiders moved out.
At the time, some...
Was it the Raiders or was it Oakland?
Good question.
I mean, they haven't destroyed Vegas, have they?
Well, you talk to people who work at the airport, they all call in sick whenever the Raiders are playing because they don't want to deal with that crowd.
At the time, some said they were not surprised by any of it.
Are you surprised when you hear this kind of thing happen? Somebody getting angry and then going in and just shooting somebody because of it?
I mean, not really, because we're in Oakland, California. I mean, that's what happens.
That is your average Oaklander right there.
How old was this person?
Are you surprised when you hear this kind of thing happen? Somebody getting angry and then going in and just shooting somebody because of it?
I mean, not really, because we're in Oakland, California. I mean, that's what happens.
Okay, so the question is, what will it take to make the perception of Oakland match the reality? Andrea Nakano talked to an expert about the disconnect.
From the shooting death of legendary coach John Beam to parole agent Joshua Byrd being gunned down by a parolee.
Oh, I forgot about that one.
Did that happen when I was on vacation?
Oakland has seen its share of high-profile violent crimes. But since 2023, when there was a total of 114 murders in the city, it has steadily dropped, falling from 75 in 2024 to just below 60 by the start of December this year. UC Berkeley criminal...
What was it when Jerry Brown was mayor?
Yeah, that still seems like a lot.
Oakland is not that big of a city.
Not to have that many murders.
UC Berkeley criminal justice professor Jonathan Simon believes the 2023 numbers can be directly connected to COVID.
What?
Oh, come on. So you lose your sense of taste, you lose your sense of smell, and oh yeah, you shoot up your neighbor's house?
Yeah. We've heard this over and over and over again from the Gascons of the world.
Do a Google on YouTube.
That the spikes in crime had nothing to do with inept mayors and progressive DAs. It all had to do with COVID.
So they're blaming the Chinese.
Jonathan Simon believes the 2023 numbers can be directly connected to COVID.
But COVID was over then.
Who is this idiot?
He is a criminology professor at one of the colleges.
Totally useless.
From a sociological point of view, we've never really come to grips with what a big impact that had on our society. I think people...
You know, every single person got locked down. Most people got some kind of furlough or lost their job. not everyone went out and started shooting each other.
No, we got fat, we got drunk, and we binge-watched Netflix.
Remember Tiger King? Those are good old days.
Watched every single episode.
From a sociological point of view, we've never really come to grips with what a big...
It's like when George Gascon or Pamela Price likes to blame crime on poverty. You know, the vast majority of poor people don't commit crimes. They just work their ass off.
Did you see, by the way, that Barbara Ferrer is now out claiming that there is a spike in STDs among women in Los Angeles County, and she's blaming it on sexism and racism?
How do you figure that one?
I'm still trying to wrap my head around it.
Well, seems like they needed to try to wrap something else.
Here's the headline in the LA Times. Must reads, they say. STDs in women are skyrocketing. Officials, and they have a picture of Ferrer and Hilda Solis, think racism and misogyny may be to blame. Or how about this? We have a lot of hoochies in Los Angeles County.
Yeah. Although I will say, if you're trying to lower sexual activity because you don't want to see all these STDs, plastering you-know-whose face around the city is going to help quite a bit in that.
I have tech issues.
How is racism the cause of sexually transmitted diseases?
You know, I could speculate, but I'm not going to.
Or misogyny.
Are we alleging that there are certain races of people that don't use condoms?
I don't know what point she's trying to make, but I can tell you this. Racism isn't how you get gonorrhea.
Impact that had on our society.
Let's go back to Oakland.
Impact that had on our society. I think people were incredibly demoralized, is probably an accurate term, by a sense that society had kind of failed them. Their jobs were maybe over. Their schools weren't working.
Robberies have also...
So because we sent all the kids home, that's when all the bipping started?
I've been bipped several times.
Trying to follow the logic of these people is really difficult to do.
The people in the educational space that try to make excuses for crime disgust me. Because 95% of people who walk around this state would never imagine and thinking of committing a crime or victimizing somebody. And those are from all walks of life. Those are from all economic classes and all races.
Well, let's just look at the argument that they're making for a second. If the lockdowns are what caused the murders, then aren't the teachers' unions at fault? Because they were the ones that wanted everything locked down forever, even after everyone else went back to work.
So you're saying Cecily Myart Cruz didn't pull the trigger, but she loaded the gun.
Maybe that's what I'm saying.
And I want you to be all the way pissed off.
Robberies have also seen a decline. For the last decade, there have been at least 2,000 robbery cases reported every...
Remember that word?
Robbery?
No, the other R word.
Reported. Cases reported.
Reported.
Yes.
Every year. So far this year, the number stands around 1,550. While serious violent crimes rarely go unreported...
We sure about that one?
We just did a story yesterday. The 7-Elevens cannot import enough people from India to work the overnight shift. They can't hire cashiers. And they pay double what they pay for insurance in other states because they get robbed so often. And they also said they don't even report the robberies because they don't want to be dropped from their policies.
Maybe crime is down because crime is not being reported. Sure seems like that makes more sense than all of a sudden, even though there has not been a bolstering of OPD, and you've got a mayor who doesn't even know what she's doing there, that crime is magically down in Oakland.
Bingo.
While serious violent crimes rarely go unreported, a lack of trust...
I mean, if you don't find the body, you don't know there was a murder.
Correct.
I saw season 4 of The Wire. They'd nail you up inside a vacant.
A lack of trust or confidence in a police department could lead to victims not reporting crimes.
You mean like a broken 911 system, or you finally get a hold of OPD and they come 12 hours later and say, oh, go online and file a report. We can't do anything.
Criminologists are never very happy with police reporting as the main way that we measure crime, because we know that there's a lot of factors that prevent people from reporting to police: frustration, mistrust of police, etc. The gold standard, the better approach is to do surveys.
They're not calling the police because the police are understaffed and won't solve the crime. It's not that hard to understand.
The gold standard, the better approach is to do surveys.
John, on a scale of 1 to 5, how safe do you feel in Oakland?
Are negative numbers allowed?
Here is a statement. Crime is going down in Oakland. Do you totally agree with that statement? Somewhat agree with that statement?
In the old days, what you could look to are insurance claims, because if you get robbed, you file an insurance claim. But because that's so screwed up in this state, no one makes a claim with their insurance company because they don't want to be dropped.
While the numbers are going down, Professor Simon says he wouldn't be surprised to see an uptick again in the coming years. That uptick may be small, but the spotlight on certain crimes in certain cities may be driving the perception of crime in their communities.
We have a national political discourse now that makes urban...
You know, all the people who are upset about crime in Oakland are mostly the people who live in Oakland.
They're also the ones that recalled Pamela Price because she wouldn't prosecute anyone, and they recalled their mayor, Shang Tao.
Poor Shangy.
Absolutely, absolutely.
We have a national political discourse now that makes urban crime a partisan issue, sadly. And so depending on where people get their news, what social media they're paying attention to, the idea that our cities are just, hellscapes of crime gets a lot of attention.
I mean, I just go on the local news stations every day. KPIX, NBC Bay, ABC7 in the Bay, Cron 4. I see what I see.
But this is the argument that they make. They blame the news media. If we just didn't talk about it, people would feel safe. That's the argument they're making.
Now, as for the suspect in the killing of John Beam, he is facing murder and gun charges. Cedric Irving Jr. is expected back in court later this month.
So there you go. The latest on looking into the crime is down theories of Oakland, California.
Let's go to Cardi in Lancaster. Cardi, hello.
Hey, John. Hey, Randy. So if the teachers would have had it their way, John, we'd still be in lockdown. Number one. Number two, most of these politicians don't even have a clue and don't have to deal with criminals because they live behind 10-foot walls. And number three, quit voting blue. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for the call, sir. 800-222-5222 is the telephone number, 1-800-222-5222. The Fix California Hour coming up after the news at 1. 800-222-5222 is the telephone number, 1-800-222-5222. I don't think I've talked about this on the air yet, but it upset me, so I want to bring it up to see if maybe some of you have experienced the same thing at some point. I had an appointment with one of my doctors, the dermatologist, recently, and they canceled on me morning of. And it's irritating because you had it on your calendar, you made sure not to book anything during that time, and then suddenly it evaporates. But people get sick, airplanes get delayed, people can't go to work for some reason or another. I don't know the reason that they canceled. I don't really care. I just wanted to reschedule my appointment. So they told me that they would call me to reschedule, which they never did. So I decided I'll call the dermatologist myself and make a new appointment. So I did. I called the local office with the local telephone number that they have on their website with my local area code. And after I called the dermatology office, I got sent to a call center in India. Now, I get the call centers when you're calling a huge corporation. You're calling Royal Caribbean. You're calling fill in the blank. Many of them have foreign call centers. I don't like it because the line is difficult to hear and understand, and then you have the language barrier too. I like dealing with people here in the United States. But I've never heard of a local business. We're not talking about a huge corporation here. We're talking about a local business send their calls to a different continent. How cheap are they when they can't pay someone to answer the phone in California? They sent me to a different country. Let's go to Dale in Long Beach. Dale, hello.
Yeah, Randy was right about a lot of people being shot and making it to the hospital and not dying. Because if you ask the computer specific categories, it will tell you here that in Oakland, crime statistics for 2025 in August was 360 assaults with firearms.
So Kaiser does a good job up there selling people up.
Apparently so. But it's a whole big 18% decrease in the first half of 2025. Wow, it must have been terrible last year.
Well, I'll tell you, the next time I hear someone dumping on the care that Kaiser provides, I will tell them Kaiser single-handedly is making Oakland's crime numbers go down.
Don't they give away free condoms at the county health department?
They do that. Hell, here we've tried to give them away at the library.
Along with a Narcan. All right, we've got 2 more hours coming up on the John Phillips Show. The Fix California hour is next. Don't you go anywhere.